Welcome everyone. We are back live on Facebook. I hope everybody's having a great afternoon. I wanted to share some things with you today that I've been hearing from people, both clients and prospective clients. And all of it is around confusion about estate planning. And just as a starting point, I recognize that estate planning can be a confusing topic. It can be complex, although it doesn't need always to be complex in the planning, but it can seem complex and a little foreign, and so there tends to be a lot of confusion and misapprehension around estate planning. But I've been talking with prospective clients and even clients recently and have been hearing two very distinct sources of confusion. One of them is obvious as confusion, and the other one is a little more subtle. And I wanted to share those with you today because I think it will help to clear up some people's confusion about approaching estate planning, and it may help you to think better about planning for your own family. So here's the two sources of confusion. I'm going to start with the obvious one first. The obvious one goes something like this, and this is what I hear from mostly parents of young kids. I wake up in the middle of the night terrified that I don't know what's going to happen to my kids if something happens to me or to me and my spouse. And the confusion is around, I have this knot in my stomach, but I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to take care of this sense of anxiety that I have about my kids and their future. There's something that I probably need to be doing, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to get started. Even if I knew kind of what to do, part two of that is always I don't know where and how to get started. So that's an obvious one. There's something I need to do. I have this fear about what's going to happen. I need to do something about that, but I don't always know what that is, and I don't know how and where to get started. And that's the kind of thing that we help, especially parents of young kids, with day in and day out, is helping them to understand what it is how they need to be thinking about protecting their family and the kinds of decisions they need to be making to protect their family, and then inviting them to allow us to walk them through the process, to let us be their guide to get them through to the other side, to the place where they've got a good plan in place, where they know is going to take care of their family no matter what. So that's one source of confusion. I don't know what to do. I don't know how and where to get started. The other source of confusion doesn't always present itself as confusion. It presents itself, ironically, as certainty, and that's where it's a little bit insidious. Because the other part of confusion is when I talk to people and they start a conversation with, I want or I need. I want a simple will. I need a basic will, or I need a trust, or I need this kind of tool or that kind of tool, or this thing or that thing. And I'm always a little wary when somebody comes to me and says, I need or I want, and it's followed by something about estate planning. I need a simple will. I want a simple will. All I need is a simple will, or all I need is a basic will. And that doesn't seem like confusion. As I said, it seems very much like certainty, but here's where the confusion is kind of woven into that certainty. The confusion is around what it is they really need. Because people who start a conversation with, I want this or I need that, most often really don't know what it is that they need or want. Most often what they're doing is simply repeating what they've read or what they've heard about estate planning. And let me give you an example that'll make this maybe a little more obvious. Let's say you walked into your doctor's office. No, let's start with you called your doctor's office and said, I want to schedule an appointment with the doctor. I need an MRI. Before you ever talked to the doctor, ever met the doctor, or ever told the doctor what the problem was. If you just called up and said to the receptionist, I'd like to schedule an MRI, when can I do that? Or if you walked into a doctor's office and said, I would like to schedule my triple bypass, when can I do that? Again, before ever talking to the doctor about symptoms and what would be the right course of action. That example seems obvious that would be crazy. You don't call up a doctor's office and say, I want to schedule an MRI or I want to schedule a triple bypass. Can I do it next Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning? And people do that around estate planning all the time. And the reason is they search on the internet and they read articles that say you should do this or you should have that, or they're listening to Dave Ramsey and they're hearing Dave Ramsey say everyone needs a will, but all you need is a simple will. Don't make it too complicated. Or they're reading Susie Orman or wherever it is. There's some source of information that they're getting this from, and then they call or they start a conversation with me or they call our office and they're basically just repeating what they've heard. Here's the important thing for you to know. There's no way to know what you need or what you even want until you sit down with an estate planning attorney and let them help you to get really, really clear about two things. Number one, where are you now? What is going to happen to your family? What is going to happen to your assets if something happens to you right now, given whatever plan is currently in place? Either you have an existing plan and you let them help you to get really, really clear about what's going to happen under that existing plan, or you don't have any plan at all and you are going to be subject to the default plan, in which case you need to let them help you get really, really clear about what's going to happen under the default plan. So that's step one. Step two is to let an estate planner help you to get really, really clear about where you would rather be instead, if where you are is not where you want to stay. In other words, if your current plan doesn't work for you or won't work for your family, or if the default plan won't work for your family, let an estate planner help you to get really, really clear about what you do want to happen, how you want things to be for you and for your kids and for your family, what you want to happen to your assets, who you want to take care of your kids. And then, and really only then, can an estate planner start to talk to you about tools. Do you need a will? Do you need a trust? Do you need incapacity documents, healthcare directives, and a power of attorney? If you need a trust, what kind of trust do you need? Do you need a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust? And again, it's all based on what you're trying to accomplish. And until somebody can sit with you, hear you, listen to what it is you're trying to accomplish, they can't pull the right tool out of their tool chest. We've got lots of tools at our disposal that can help you to do a lot of things and accomplish a lot of goals, but we don't know the right tool to use until we know where are you now and where do you want to be. And then we can assess the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and now we can dig into the tool chest, pull out the tools we have at our disposal, and help you to create and structure a plan that gets you from point A to point B, from where you are to where you want to be, to where you want things to be for your family in the future if you are no longer there. So those are the two sources of confusion. And so if you ever find yourself thinking to yourself, I just need a simple will, or I just need a basic will, just recognize that, check yourself, and I encourage you to schedule some time to talk with an estate planning attorney about, do I need a simple will? Do I need a basic will? And is that enough for me? Or do I need more? And again, it always goes back to the conversation about where are you now and what do you want to accomplish? And any good, competent estate planning attorney can serve as a guide for you to help you get, as I said, from point A to point B. And very often what we'll see in the office is someone will call and will be so adamant that this is what they need, this is all they need, that they won't even schedule an appointment. And I know at some level there is a universe of people who aren't getting helped, or getting even worse, they're getting shortchanged by estate planning attorneys when they call up, because there are other estate planning attorneys when they hear on the phone, this is all I need. There are some estate planning attorneys that will say, fine, that's what we'll give you. If that's what you want, that's what we'll give you, without taking the time to really, truly dig deep and help a prospective client know and understand what it is that they want and what it is that they truly need. Just like if you walked into your doctor's office and said, I need an MRI, you would hope that your doctor would say, hold on a minute, tell me what's going on, tell me your symptoms, tell me what the problem is, and let's figure out what the right course of treatment is. Maybe it's an MRI, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just medicine. It's the same thing in estate planning. You know, the truth is, I've never met really anyone that I've worked with who has ever needed just a simple will or just a basic will. I can't think of a single time in any client or prospective client I've ever talked to where I need a simple will or I need a basic will has ever been the right answer. But we hear that. I can't tell you how many times we hear that. And I think of it as our job to very gently help prospective clients kind of think through all of the appropriate issues that they need to think through, instead of being stuck on I want and I need. So that is, again, that's the other source of confusion around estate planning. And again, it seems, you know, right up front on its surface that it's not confusion at all, it's very much certainty. But there is that kind of insidious link to underlying confusion behind that. So I just wanted to share, since I've been seeing a lot of that and hearing a lot of that from people lately, I just wanted to share that. And I wanted to share an opportunity. If you've got a plan in place, or if you don't have a plan in place, next week, as a matter of fact, we are doing a webinar on the basics of estate planning. And we're going to dive deeper on some of the things that I started to touch on here and help people on the webinar work through whatever confusion they have about estate planning, help them to think more strategically about how to create a great plan for their family. Again, getting them to think clearly about where they are right now, getting them to think more clearly about where they want to be in the future, and then talking about ways to get from point A to point B. So that webinar, again, on the basics of estate planning, is going to be next Thursday, August 12th. It's at 2 p.m. And there should be a link in the comments below that will allow you to click. Just click on that link and it'll take you to the webinar registration page, and you can register for that webinar. And again, I'm going to dive a little deeper on the basics of estate planning. How to think about estate planning if you're the parents of young kids. How to think about estate planning if you're an empty nester or even older. How to think about guardianship for your kids. How to think about creating a rock-solid plan around your assets so that they can pass easily, seamlessly, and smoothly to your families or the people you would want to receive those assets. And how to create a great incapacity plan so that if you're still alive but you need someone to step in and make healthcare or legal or financial decisions, someone will be available to step right in and make those decisions for you if necessary. So those are the kinds of things we're going to talk about next week. If you'd like to register for that webinar, again, there should be a link in the comments below, and you can get scheduled and join us next Thursday at 2 p.m. We'll dig a little bit deeper. So hopefully this was helpful for everyone, If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below and we will get answers to you. If you're joining us on the webinar next week, feel free to bring your questions with you, and just know that will be able to ask questions at the end of the webinar. So feel free to bring some questions to the webinar, and anything that pops up during the webinar as a question, we'll be answering questions at the end. So I'd love to keep this conversation and this dialogue going. I want to help you and support you in your planning for your family in any way that we possibly can. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Thursday. But again, any questions in the meantime, drop them into the comments below, and we'll be happy to answer as those questions pop up. Thanks everybody for joining me. Again, it's been David Feeks, owner and founder of the Parents Estate Planning Law Firm in Acton, and I look forward to talking to you all again real soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.